Afternoon and welcome to this meeting of the West Haymarket JPA. I'm Lyrian Gaylor-Baird, and to my right is Regent Tim Clare. I would like to call this meeting to order and note that the copy of the Open Meetings Act is located in the back of the chamber. We will have the clerk read each item on our agenda, and staff will then come forward to present on that item. We will take public comment on each item, and every speaker is welcome to come up and please state your name and address into the record. You'll be allowed 5 minutes to speak on each item. And with that, Casey, would you please call the first item?
Approval of the minutes from the JPA meeting held August 26, 2021.
Move approval.
I'll second that, if I may. And that is moved by Claire, seconded by Gaylor-Baird. Please call the roll. Or any discussion of the minutes and corrections? No. Please call the roll.
Claire?
Yes.
Gaylor-Baird?
Yes.
Motion carried 2-0. Next item is approval of August 2021 payment register and review of the August 2021 expenditure reports.
Members of the board, David Young, Finance Department. Thank you for allowing me to attend virtually last month. I appreciate that. The payment register for August, pretty short, $100,901 for the City of Lincoln accounting project to close out the end of the fiscal year. $221,832 District Energy Corporation, which we received 70.2% back. That is very consistent for us. $194,017.90 for the City of Lincoln parking. $27,814.43 for repairs at PBA, and $15,000 for reimbursement for the upgrades on the HVAC control software. Those are the highlights.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Young? No? Okay, we'd be willing to take public comment on this item if anyone would like to come forward. If anyone would like to come forward and speak.
How much, or how did it come up with, how'd you make up the 2 million loss that showed for the JPA last time?
The loss, you'd have to give me a little more information. Where are you looking here?
In the end, here, there was a 2 million loss.
You know, right now we're just looking at the payment register. Is that possibly for a different item on the agenda? Do we want to close out this item and then come back to that question? Ms. Kinsey, do you have any questions on the payment register before we move on?
You talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear what you said.
We are on item 4 with the payment register, and
The payment register?
we were just going over the highlights of the payment register. Are you looking at the expenditure report? Can you help us understand where your question is, what document you're looking at?
You don't have that there. Or you want me to email you and ask you?
Yes, so what they're asking is, do you have any questions on the payment register? Which is the highlights,
Okay.
item 4A. But yes, if you would like to, we can sit down and discuss.
Okay.
the account.
Yeah, the city still is, or the charges are still high for the thermal and cooling. Any new members of the DEC? Or are they the same?
It's the same membership. We are waiting on Block 4 to come online.
Okay. So that bill's continuing to be high.
It's continued to be very consistent.
What?
It's very consistent.
It's very what?
Consistent.
Okay. Yeah, it's, but they've been trying to get it down by getting more people on there. And the parking garage, 104, has that been consistent, or is it about the same?
These are very consistent numbers, yes. Yes, ma'am.
It is, okay,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, any further comment on item 4?
David, once Block 4 comes on board, what will that percentage, what's the guesstimate that will take down the obligation on DEC?
I haven't seen the full calculations on that, but I will bring that back to you and respond to you in email with exactly that percentage.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, seeing no further folks coming forward to comment, I'd accept a motion on item 4 on the payment registers. Oh, do you have more questions?
One other,
You bet.
and David, this has been my monthly question that I ask at every JPA. Where are we financially?
Sure.
With respect to where we anticipated being?
We're in very good financial position right now. The projections for occupancy tax correspond with 2025 and the original projections. We came in 2% over our projections for the year, and we were actually at 0.84% or 8.43% above for this coming year. So we are doing very well. Great to see that. Again, these are against 2020, so 2020 was a very tough year, but it does look good.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any further questions for staff?
That's all.
Okay. I'd accept a motion on
So moved.
4. All right. Second. Moved by Claire, seconded by Gaylor Baird. Please call the roll, Casey.
Claire,
Yes.
Gaylor Baird,
Yes.
motion carried 2-0. The next item is WH 21-11, resolution approving an amendment to a memorandum of understanding between the West Haymarket JPA and Project Control of Texas for construction management services for a term of September 1, 2021 through August 31st, 2022, with cost not to exceed $50,000.
Good afternoon, Chris Connolly, City Law Department. This is a renewal of the annual agreement that we have for construction management. Last year, we did this with 2 entities, Project Control and Benish. We have gone back to doing this with just 1 entity. It's not really a difference in the cost. It just, there weren't enough projects to make splitting this out between 2 different companies worthwhile. And so we're returning back to having just Project Control do it. There is a limit right now of $50,000. If for whatever reason, we expect it to be a little bit of a lean year because we know we're still recovering from the pandemic. But if we expected if we do much better and there are some of these capital projects that we can speed up, and it looks like that we would need to exceed that amount, we'll come back and ask for an amendment based on what we think the additional cost will be because of these additional projects that we would do. But other than that, if you have any questions on it, I'm open. The other terms and conditions are the same as we've had for years.
I think they've done a great job and have been receptive, and they've attended every single meeting, and we wouldn't be here without them.
Agreed.
Agreed. All right. Would anyone like to testify on this item? All right. Would you like to? Okay.
Jane Kinsey with Watchdogs. So is this just a rollover of the contract?
Well, it's an amendment. It's extending it out, and the annual expenditures for the next fiscal year, though, are not expected to exceed $50,000 right now.
Okay. But you had, the regular contract is still in effect?
Correct.
Or?
Yes,
Okay.
it's an extension of the other terms and conditions. What we might otherwise call the boilerplate things are still
Okay,
the
is
same.
that a perennial contract?
It is, yes. I mean, we have a new contract with them every year.
Okay. But are you signing it every year or just?
Well, this is amending it to extend it out through this
The
next year.
22.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And so the regular contract is in effect, and then this is 50,000 more?
For this fiscal year.
Yeah, okay. And what's the base on that?
I mean, what's the, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you mean. What's the base?
Is there the base? This is an amendment. What's the original contract?
I don't recall what the original amount was on that, but I mean, it's monies that would have been expended in the past years, really.
Uh-huh. And what is the addition for, then, the amendment?
Well, we have a number of smaller projects through the course of the year that we will need project management for, and that's what they will be doing. That's
Okay.
what that 50,000 is for.
In addition to ones they've already had?
Well, when you say in addition, that's work that's already done, it's already been paid for. So this year, there's $50,000 worth of work we expect them to do this year.
Okay. So Dave could give me the figure of what the basic contract is?
Well, actually, I'm sure David can provide you how much has been paid to them in the past.
Okay.
Sure.
Adam Hopelheinrich with Project Control. Happy to be here, happy to have another year of relationship with the JPA. We've been doing yearly not to exceeds. So last year was the first year of this renewal contract, and I believe I think it was 60,000, and we were under that amount. So we've been just doing yearly not to exceeds. So that's the base.
What were those figures? I didn't hear.
I'd have to confirm, but
Oh.
I just know we were under the amount of last year's, and then every year we do a new not to exceed. So it's kind of essentially a new agreement at that point.
So is this like a raise then, or you'll be doing additional duties?
We will be paid for our time as we do.
She's trying to ask if there's a base amount and this 50,000 adds to that, which I believe you've explained is not the case. This is simply an amendment to create an extension of time with a new figure, and that new figure is not to exceed 50,000. So that is all that they're authorized by this contract. There is no additional amount of money beyond the 50,000.
Okay, so
Okay.
that's the whole amount?
Yes.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. Any staff questions? Okay. Would anyone else like to speak on this item? All right, seeing none, I'd entertain a motion on item
So
5.
moved.
Second, moved by Claire, seconded by Gaylor Baird. Please call the roll, Casey.
Claire,
Yes.
Gaylor Baird,
Yes.
item carried 2-0. Next item is WH 21-12, resolution authorizing the treasurer of the West Haymarket JPA to negotiate and execute club seat agreements at Pinnacle Bank Arena.
On this item, this is a matter of how to deal with the club seats only. We have different levels of premium seats. We have club seats, loges, and suites. But the most numerous ones are, of course, the club seats, and that's where the most activity occurs, too. That's where people buy them. They may want to move on and move away from their contracts. They may want to assign them. There's different things that happen. As in the last year, there's been a little more, shall we say, turbulence, just because there hasn't been as many shows involved at Pinnacle Bank Arena. And so we've had discussions about how to handle these transactions going forward with the club seat holders only. There's not enough activity in the loge boxes or the suites that we feel like any kind of additional or change is necessary for how the transactions are conducted. And so what we're asking the board to do is approve a method by which the treasurer is authorized to execute and modify these agreements if necessary with regard to the club seats, just because we expect that there may be some additional activity. We don't want to delay things and continually bring things to the board for these kinds of club seat transactions. People want them to happen faster. And so this is the way we would like to proceed going forward. Certainly, we'll provide the board with any reports or updates on how the seats are being transacted and what's happening with them, but we think this will be a faster, more efficient way to do it.
Thank you. Any questions?
Is there any questions?
Okay. Would anyone like to speak on this item, item 6?
Jane Kinsey with Watchdogs. So is the price going to change, or have you decided on that?
Well, there's nothing in here that changes the price of the contract. We had already told the club seat holders we were going back to their original price.
Okay,
So, that won't change as a result of this either. All this does is change who's authorized to sign the contract.
oh, okay. And were these the seats that you were going to suspend before?
We did, yes, we
Okay.
did, we didn't collect from them last
Okay.
year.
And what was the original price? You remember?
$750, I think, $750.
$50? Okay, thank you.
Okay, would anyone else like to speak on this item? Right, seeing none, I'd ask for a motion on item 6.
So moved.
Seconded. Any discussion? All right, that was moved by Claire, seconded by Gaylor Baird. Please call the roll.
Claire,
Yes.
Gaylor Baird,
Yes.
motion carried 2-0.
I guess if I could maybe make one comment. Chris, we talked about this a little bit. Sorry, this is maybe going out of order, but when we do have the opportunity to visit with club seat holders and others, I'd like to find out how their experience has been and what we can do to try to enhance that experience. And because I think it would, we want to try to create the wow factor, and let's try to use this as an opportunity when we speak with these folks to find out what their thoughts are.
In fact, David has already developed a form for situations where, for example, there's a couple of seat holders that are either moving or they may have a number of reasons why they don't want the tickets anymore. Perfectly legitimate reasons that have nothing to do with the pandemic. And so David has developed a form that gives them the opportunity to give us input on really anything involving the experience. But if it gives them an opportunity and gives us a record of why there's a change going on here.
And to that end, it might not be a bad idea to talk to anybody that's going to the arena to just find out what their thoughts are and how we can make the experience just a little bit better for them. I know
Sure.
Tom's probably doing some of that now.
Yeah, and we will, I don't know if we have an organized way of reaching out to the club seat owners in particular and trying to organize a meeting, but we have done similar things in the past for suites and loges, so.
Great.
Thank
Sorry
you.
about that.
Oh, that's all right. Casey, do you want to talk about the next meeting date?
Yeah, the next meeting date will be scheduled for Thursday, October 28th at 2:30 here in council chambers.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I guess we may need to reschedule, find a new date, so we will make sure that that is published well in advance of the actual meeting. Okay. All right, and with that, I take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded. Moved by Claire, seconded by Gaylor Baird. Please call the roll.
Claire,
Yes.
Gaylor Baird,
Yes. We are adjourned. Thank you.